We're here at the One-to-One Mining Conference in London. Harry, great to have you with us. Can you tell us firstly more about your core project, the Kefi project?
Yeah, 2 million ounce resource, or just under, 1 million ounce reserve, fully permitted, all the consortium formed up for construction and development and operation. All the documentation's been submitted to the government as we planned this year for their approval. We hope to get that approval next month, and then we trigger drawdown procedures, jockeying both community resettlement, drawdown procedures on the debt and mobilisation of the contractors over the following 3 or so months, so that we don't draw down too early and not too late. In other words, you've got to, if you like, trigger construction around the community move and trigger the drawdown around the start of construction. So all systems go. We're well into the processes of execution, and things are looking very good.
And can you update us on the financing of the project?
Well, that's really the main deal at the moment, is that the community really wants to get going. The financiers want to get going. All been laid out in front of the government for approval. Things will be called down in front of the most senior people in government in the next week or two to discuss any final bits. So yeah, it's all about the financing now, and we're well into the process of doing all that, and then hopefully by the end of the year, as planned, it'll be closed down, all the documents agreed, and we'll be into execution and drawdown.
Has the government been supportive?
Absolutely. Very bureaucratic, because when I say bureaucratic, it's the first big deal, first big mining deal. So things being asked for the first time, being confronted for the first time, which adds a lot of time for us to explain things and justify things, but in no way obstructive, I can put it that way, just time consuming, and that's understandable. So very, very supportive. They've committed to put in the money. They just announced that they've approved the budget allocation to spend the money on the things they have to do. No, I frankly couldn't ask for more top-level support, and the community is certainly wanting this to get on with it as well.
So what can investors expect to hear in the new year?
Closing, all the money coming in, and things happening on the ground. Yeah.
And finally, we're here at the One-to-One conference. What are you hoping to get across to investors today?
Well, we've been started this a couple of months ago, and that is to explain to the capital markets that as soon as the debt is committed, we need to then put the equity component in the bank, whether it comes in through the project level or the intermediate company level or the parent company level. We need to be ready to strike when we have to strike, so to speak. And as soon as that debt commitment is signed in black ink, we have to move to make sure that it all triggers, so that the equity is not required to do all the funding for the development until everything else is committed, but it has to be ready to strike when everything else is committed. And that means, whenever there's an opportunity to cover 2 or 3 conferences in a day, like I did today, I go around and explain it to people, and in a day or two can see most people in the capital markets that are relevant for our project.
Well, Harry, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.